Floyd Mayweather made over $1 billion in his boxing career. Right now, he's facing felony charges connected to a bounced check that cleared the wrong way. But here's the truth. The bad check was never the real problem. The Bible warned us about this exact mistake 3,000 years ago, and it's still happening to almost everyone who gets money fast. Floyd made over $1 billion, and today he's drowning in debt. If a man with that much money can lose it all, you have to ask what chance the rest of us have if we don't get it right. This isn't really about Floyd. It's about the same money mistakes you might be making right now without even knowing it. By the end of this video, you'll know the biblical principles that protect your money instead of destroying it, and how to spot these warning signs in your own life before they cost you everything like it's costing Floyd Mayweather. Now, Floyd let other people control his money for years, and that decision is catching up with him right now. Floyd is now suing his own money manager for $175 million. According to the lawsuit, one man handled almost every financial decision in his life. Can you imagine that? What he invested, what he owed, and where his money physically went. That was shocking.
Floyd Mayweather's attorney says the gloves are off after the superstar boxer allegedly lost $175 million to his former money manager. In a lawsuit that was filed Friday, the five-division champ claimed that disgraced New York power broker Jonah Rechetz defrauded him of the cash when Rechetz was working as the boxer's investment portfolio manager. In the complaint, which lays out claims like fraud and breach of fiduciary duty, Mayweather, who has earned a reported $1 billion over the course of his career, said that Rechetz began, to gain his trust in 2017, and by 2024, he was the champ's de facto investment manager. But what Mayweather says he didn't know was that the same year he met Rechetz, his new money guru had testified in a New York City police corruption scandal about bribing city officials and former Mayor Bill de Blasio.
That points to the first principle, and it comes straight from the book of Proverbs. Proverbs teaches that a person should have many advisors, not just one. Because when one person controls everything, nobody is there to catch a mistake or lie before it becomes a disaster. And some of you may say, well, Floyd trusted his man for years, and that man earned his trust. That's the exact problem. Trust isn't a system, family, and it isn't a safeguard. I learned that personally myself with the little money I had when I vested my pension, when I retired early. I had a money manager who gave me sound advice for years and helped me grow my investments consistently so I would have income while I was going to school full time. But someone I trusted convinced me to put money into what turned out to be a pyramid scheme type investment. And I lost money on that one. But because I never let any single person control my whole portfolio, because I only invested what I could afford to lose, it never touched the foundation my money manager had already built. Floyd didn't have that kind of system. And his jewelry, his jet, and millions of dollars allegedly disappeared while one man controlled all of it. When you spread out who handles your money, mistakes and lies get caught very early. That's not an insult to the people you trust. It is smart money management, and it is good stewardship. It's the reason one bad investment cost me some money instead of costing me everything. But even with 10 people watching his money, it wouldn't have fixed the second mistake Floyd was making the entire time. Floyd wrote a bad check for a $200,000 watch. A watch, family? At the same time, The IRS had already filed a tax lien against him.
Boxing legend Floyd Mayweather could be in a world of trouble for allegedly writing a bad check for a $200,000 luxury Audemars Piguet watch back on New Year's Eve of December 2024. This is a crazy story, and Floyd is facing criminal charges, felony charges that could carry a 20-year prison sentence here if he is ultimately convicted. So, here's how the story goes. Floyd Mayweather on December 31st, 2024, allegedly goes to this jewelry store in Las Vegas, Nevada, a gold shop called Gold and Beyond that Floyd allegedly had dealt with in the past. He wants to buy himself this really nice watch. They say, sure. You don't need to do it with cash or a cashier's check, Floyd. You can write a personal check and we'll give you the watch. Well, the issue is the jewelry store says when they went to the bank to cash the check, it was a Wells Fargo account, the money just wasn't there. The check bounced and they were shocked. So what do? They contact Floyd Mayweather and they say, surely this must be a mistake. This guy has made something like reportedly $1.2 billion over the course of his career. There's no way that his check just bounced. They say that Floyd Mayweather ends up ghosting them, that he will not respond. They keep reaching out. And over what is an 18-month period nearly, they say that they just cannot get in contact with Floyd. So they feel like they've got no recourse left but to go to the authorities. So they go to the police investigate, and now again we've got these criminal charges.
That points to a second principle the Bible repeats over and over. Proverbs says the borrower becomes a servant to the lender. That means you're not working for yourself. You're serving the person that you borrowed from. Floyd kept spending money he didn't have to keep up with the appearance that he still had it, because money trouble feels like something you can keep covering up with a new purchase. Someone might disagree and say he earned over $1 billion. He's earned the right to spend it however he wants. That's true. That's true. But I sure would rather have spent it wisely and continue to spend it for a lifetime than to be in the situation he's in now. But you're right. It's true. He can spend it however he wants. But earning money and managing money are two different skills. And we know which one he lacked. I've always believed the opposite approach works better. If you have money, the wisest thing you can do is keep it to yourself. The moment people know what you have, it changes how they treat you and what they expect from you. Floyd did the opposite. His spending stayed high while his income slowed down. And a bounce check for a watch is what years of that habit eventually produced and exposed. The real problem was never the watch. It was years of choosing how things looked over how the numbers actually worked. And once you're spending more than you're bringing in, there's only one place left for the gap to come from. Floyd earned over $1 billion across his career, and after taxes, still had hundreds of millions left over, enough to support generations of families. Think about that. Instead, most of it is gone.
People are always in my fucking business, worried about what I'm doing, what Floyd is doing, what Floyd ain't doing, what I do got, what I don't got. Just know, I'm gonna stay in my lane. I ain't gonna fuck with nobody, and I don't want nobody fucking with me. If I go on vacation, my fault. When I go on vacation for 30 days, I take 30 watches with me. But you know what? What's crazy is this. If we add 10 more days, I take 10 more watches. But then I say, fuck it. If I want to bring out the one and only, then I bring out the watch that costs 18 million. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do for you motherfucking haters today? I'm going to go fuck off $50,000 because I ain't got shit else to do. Money made all motherfucking day. Crazy. sure I'd be upset too if I was somebody else. I'd be mad at Mayweather too. How the fuck for 29 years or 30 years you can keep getting money like this? I'd be mad too. Shit. I'd be hating on Mayweather too. Continue to hate. You know, people only talk about winners. I'm a winner, so continue to talk. Keep the bread fresh.
And that brings us to the third principle. In the proverb of the talents, a servant who was given money was expected to grow it, not just hold on to it or waste it. Money spent on appearance doesn't grow anything. I've made this mistake myself. I once used a bonus to pay off credit cards. Just imagine. Knowing full well I was not going to cut up the credit cards and stop using them afterwards. That money could have gone towards something that actually grew. Instead, it just covered the same cycle I was already in and needed to break. Floyd had that same opportunity, except his version of it happened over and over again for years with far more money on the line. Growing what you have doesn't require a fortune. It just requires consistency long after the big paycheck shows up. I've learned that the hard way. The money we use to fix a habit doesn't grow. The money you use to break it does. These three mistakes aren't really about boxing or fame. They're about how anyone can lose everything they built, no matter how much they made. Now, I want to speak directly to my community for a moment because this next principle is personal. How many of us are spending money every single year on brands, on shoes, on jewelry, on the latest thing, trying to look like something we haven't built yet? We are funding other people's generational wealth while our families stay in the same financial position year after year. Proverbs 21 verse 20 says, "There is a treasure to be desired and oil in the dwelling of the wise, but a foolish man spendeth it up." Read that again. The wise store it, the foolish spend it up. I want to share something I learned the hard way as a parent. For years, I bought my son PlayStation games year after year, keeping up with every new system, every new release. I was doing what parents do when they want their children to have what they want. But a few years into it, I stopped and I thought, what if instead of buying these games, I had bought stock in these companies? What if every time I spent money on PlayStation, I had purchased my son's shares in Sony instead? What if I had taken even a portion of what I spent on those games and put it into the very companies producing them? The wealth we could have built together would have far outlasted every game he ever played. And that's not just a personal lesson. That's a biblical one. Stop consuming what other people build and start owning a piece of it. The brands you love, the products you keep buying year after year, many of them are publicly traded. You can own a piece of them instead of just funding them. And here's what I've noticed about people who are truly wealthy. They're not flexing. They are not trying to show you what they have. They don't want you to know because they are wise and wisdom doesn't need an audience. Floyd Mayweather spent a career telling the world how much money he had. I'm rich, I'm rich. And the people who were truly building said nothing at all. Let that sink in. They just watched. They watched him flex and throw that money because they knew. If there's one lesson Floyd's story leaves us with, it's this. How you handle money when no one is watching is what determines whether it grows or disappears. Wealth doesn't fail because of bad luck. It fails when habits go uncorrected long enough to become a pattern. So don't wait until you've lost something you can't get back. Look at your own habits today while you still have time to change them. I'm Deborah, and this is Family Still Matters. Because understanding God's purpose for our lives, how we steward what He gives us, still matters too. If this helped you, like the video, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's buying all the brands and trying to look rich but don't have much in the bank. Share it with them. And before you go, leave a comment and let me know, which of these 3 areas do you need to work on the most? And what's one money habit you're going to change after watching this? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. And before we go, I want to leave you with this final word from God's word. Proverbs 13 verses 11 says, "Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase." Thank you, and may God continue to richly bless you. God bless.